Hello, Pedro.
Hello, very
Nice
good
to meet you in person.
Great to meet you, Nick.
Welcome to Investor Summit. But it'd be great to hear a little bit more about yourself and what you're here to
Okay.
do.
Sure. So I'm Pedro. I'm one of the partners at Armilar. Armilar is a venture capital fund based here in Lisbon, investing internationally. We've been around for quite some time, for 24 years, which for European VC is quite a lot. For Portuguese VC is an eternity, so it's forever. There was really no VC activity here, and no startup ecosystem here either. So from very early on, from day one, we were investing internationally, extensively in the US in the first few years. And then, as all the ecosystems in Europe in general, and in Southern Europe in particular, started to develop, we started to bring that experience to invest closer to home. So nowadays, we're focusing European investments. Within that, we've always been early stage investors, so from pre-seed to Series A, depending on the fund. And we've always had a very quick attention to companies with high technological content. So all of us in the investment team are engineers or scientists as a background, and we've always been led to that, which is, by chance, if you will, kind of the DNA of the original DNA of the Portuguese ecosystem. So right now we've been investing from several different funds. Like I said, always at Series A, all to C to Series A as a generalist, but with this DNA of high technological content.
So you haven't got a particular trend per se that you invest in, but it's just technology.
Correct. So by being a Portuguese VC, it still doesn't make a lot of sense, but it certainly did not make a lot of sense when we started to be narrowly focused. So we were designed as a generalist investor, and we remain a generalist investor in the sense that we invest in many different industries, verticals, types of technologies. But the common thread, if you will, is technical founders, highly developed technology, very often with IP, very often with R&D out of academia. So it's companies that can defend their position through the technology that they've owned, that they've developed, rather than just protecting their business model. That's a differentiator.
And I don't know if you've had a chance to walk around Web Summit yet, but the key thing is, well, obviously, it's AI at the moment. So my question is, what is your stance on AI? I know it's a very big question, but
It is a big question. I mean, honestly, we've been doing AI for 15 years, I guess. One of the unicorns that we backed very early on, we backed them when there was the 3 founders incubated in University of Coimbra. I don't know, can't remember, 10 to 12 years ago. It was Fidzai. Fidzai is now a large unicorn, several $100 million of revenue, and I don't know how many thousand people. I can't remember. I lose track. But that they are an AI company is essentially, at the time, the term was not really AI. We talked about big data. This is a company doing real-time event processing, so essentially taking millisecond decisions on large amounts of very diversified data. It had applications in different sectors and industries and utilities and finance and telecoms. With time, after we invested, we sort of narrowed it down to what it is today, which is AI dedicated to detect fraud in financial transactions. And they've built a very large and successful company.
Which company is this?
Fidzai.
Okay.
So AI has been a theme among our investments for a long time. Now this huge boom of AI is of course a boom for venture investors, and it's still in its infancy. So it's like 15 years ago, every company started becoming a cloud company. 25 years ago, every company was an internet company. Now every company is an AI company. So it doesn't make sense to speak of a cloud company anymore. It doesn't make sense to speak an internet company anymore. All of them are internet. All of them are cloud.
So what's the next?
So all of them will be AI. AI is going to be pervasive.
But what's going to be after AI? Do you think? I know it's just an unfair question. But you got internet, cloud, AI. What's going to be next?
I don't know. I wish I had a crystal ball. I mean, there's obviously all these spaces that have been around as a promise for a long time, that are still. They've been much slower than AI certainly to break out. And I'm talking, blockchain and decentralized technology, I'm talking metaverse, in which billions and billions of dollars were poured into, that have not really yet fulfilled their promise. I mean, blockchain has done very, very meaningful progress in successful companies. Metaverse still not yet. Um, uh, but I don't know. I know I'm in the job of really trying to find out, and so we're looking into different spaces that we think are going to be huge breakouts, in which AI plays a very critical role. And I'm talking space tech, for example. I'm talking quantum computing also as an example. So that's like proverbially the next big thing in computing. And that in itself generates a lot of issues around cybersecurity. So breaking cryptography as we know it today with quantum computing, that is a huge thing. And those types of technologies have taken, quantum in particular, it's been decades in development, as has AI until it had its moments and completely broke into everybody's world. Quantum will have its moment. It's still building up to that.
It's quite scary to think about breaking cryptography instantly, right?
That's just a fact. That's a known fact. That's why there's actually lots of investment volumes going into what is called post-quantum cryptography. So essentially algorithms that run in machines today, but that are already ready for when quantum computing arrives. Because essentially there is, all kinds of things going on in the internet, and there is today theft of data, that's protected by cryptography as we know it today. But if that data has a long shelf life and has strategic value in the long run, people are stealing it today to harvest its value later when quantum becomes available. So protecting the data today, even much longer before quantum is made available, is important for governments, for agencies, for utilities, because their data is vulnerable and they maybe already have lost it if it has already been stolen.
Already lost it. Wow, that's scary. I mean, when you think about cryptocurrency, the whole point of crypto is cryptography, right?
Right.
And if that is just broken by quantum,
well, crypto in the blockchain world is also the blockchain protection itself. So the fact that it is decentralized and controlled by millions or thousands of nodes gives it that extra layer of protection. So it's not just about the algorithm; it's about the distribution itself. But the cryptography that we normally use every day, and as we log in with a password or we put in credentials for a home banking application, that's openly exposed as soon as quantum computers are available.
Wow. Okay. So that makes sense, right? That's going to be the next big thing. It's not news to many people, but it's a case of when is it going to have its moment, right? Like AI has been around for decades, right?
AI has been researched for decades and decades.
And so is quantum computing. So when are we going to have the ChatGPT of quantum?
I wish I had a crystal ball. I don't think it's really happening in this decade, honestly.
Okay.
Because of one fact, that is quantum computing is highly depending on hardware. Hardware takes longer than software to develop. So AI, as soon as AI was ready technologically, its adoption went like this because it's a software and it's available for the whole world to use on day one.
Yeah.
Quantum computing requires large investments in hardware, and that tends to go slower. But the advances in quantum computing have been tremendous, and there's lots of investment opportunities in the quantum computing world. For example, in post-quantum cryptography that we just discussed, that exists today. They don't need to wait for the hardware to be fully available for everyone to use.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. Well, I know you're a busy guy, so I'll let you get back to it. And thanks so much for your time.
It was a pleasure. Thank you very much.